2 and 4. And we're going to help you with number 3 and 5. Okay? So let's start with Amaya.
All right. You told me that you.
Okay. So here. Oh. So here. That you. And then, do we have another one?
Yes. Had your.
Had your. Perfect. Thank you. Maria Fernanda?
Yes. In that year.
That year. Okay. Do we have another one in this one?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's correct. Thank you very much. Amaya?
Could you.
Okay. Okay. Do we have another one in this one?
I don't know. I just.
Maria Fernanda, do you think there's another one in this one?
No, I don't think so.
That's correct. So yeah, thank you very much, Amaya. There wasn't another one in this one. And finally, Maria Fernanda, number 5.
Had yours.
Had yours. That's correct. So that was the exercise. So we are going to check now. And those were the ones in which there was iod coalescence, and you're correct. All of those were the cases in which we could find this feature of connected speech. So now, to start the second part of the lesson, we are going to listen to some songs. And please let me know if you can not listen to the songs, because I don't think Teams is playing the audio. So it says, you will listen to 3 different extracts of songs. First, you will listen to the first second, then to, if you cannot guess the song from the first second, then you're going to listen to 3 seconds, and lastly, 5 seconds of the song. You will have to raise your hand through Teams and to let us know which song was playing. And we are only 2 of us, so I don't think we're going to have that much problems with that. So this is the first song. And please let me know if you cannot listen to it. Could you listen to it? I mean, were you able
No,
to? No? Okay.
no.
What about now? Is it working?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Great. That was the first second of the first song. Amaya?
Is Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen.
Of Queen. That's correct. That was a song. Now, the second song. Wait. The second song is this one. That was the first second. No hints. 3 seconds. No hints. 5 seconds. No? Amaya?
It's Never Gonna Give You Up of which I don't remember the last name.
Astley. This
Yeah.
was, yeah, that's the song. This song was kind of a meme a few years ago, and I don't know if you clicked the link, but if you did, it was going to send you to the YouTube video of this song. So yeah, that was Never Gonna Give You Up. This is the third song. That was the first second. Those were 3 seconds. No hands? 5 seconds. No?
I think it was something like Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
That's correct. It's Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Israel, and his last name was like something like Comas. It was a very long last name. Yeah, but yeah,
Yes.
it is that song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. You're correct. This is the fourth song. This is the first second. This is the now 3 seconds. No?
Miss, I don't know, but I can't not hear the song.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Or maybe the song start with a silence me. That
No,
will be
it didn't. It is a problem with. Oh, I wasn't showing the. It is a problem with Teams, I think, or maybe my computer or my internet connection. I don't know what it is. Um, so this is the first second. Now 3 seconds. Amaya.
I don't remember the singer, but the song called The Lion Sleep Tonight,
Yes.
and I don't remember the singer. That's the song.
The singers are the Tokens. Tokens, if I am not mistaken, how to pronounce their name. But yeah, it is The Lion Sleeps Tonight. So, think of it.
The lion sleeps jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion sleeps tonight.
So yeah, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. This song reminds me of The Lion King for some reason. So this is the last song of today, and this is the first second. No hands. Maria Fernanda?
I think it's Happy by Pharrell Williams.
And you are correct.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
It was Happy of Pharrell Williams. Wait. Oh, if I. Wait. There. Now, This is also a song, but it didn't include the audio because it was a very old song, and I don't know that I am not sure if you were going to be able to recognize this song. But it says, "Ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream." Now, what can you tell me about the words that are underlined? Ice cream and ice cream.
They sound exactly the same.
They sound the same. That is correct. And that is because they have the same phonemes. But they are small difference or actions that we do that can help us to differentiate when we are speaking about the action, the deed, and the dessert. And that is what we are going to see now. That is juncture. So now we have a small definition. And according to Peter Roach, juncture is the relationship between one sound and the sounds that immediately precede and follow it. In other words, juncture is another measure of intonation, and it characterizes the passage from one sound to the next sound in a stream of speech. It interposes a temporary stoppage in the flow of speech, and it suggests the need of a stop or pause in order to in order to obtain clarity to the speech. In other words, we can say that juncture is a phenomenon that allow us, the speakers and the listeners of a given language. In this case, we are talking about English. To produce differences between words and phrases in order to differentiate a sequence of phonemes. So, in order to understand this better, now we are going to move on to the types of juncture, and you are going to understand what I mean with the previous definition. So we have two types of juncture. First one is closed juncture, and the second one is open juncture. And Amaya, you are going to please read number one. And Maria Fernanda, you are going to read number two. So, Amaya, can you start, please?
Yes. Tyson, two. Number one, close. It exists in a word. It's in the normal transition from one phoneme to the following one within an utterance. Example, juncture.
Thank you very much. Juncture.
Juncture. All right.
Thank you very much. So, closed juncture, it is what we call a normal. Like it is a normal transition. It is what we call normal because when we pronounce words or sounds, it sounds like there is not a pause between the sounds. For example, in the case of the word you just read, juncture. When we pronounce this word, we don't realize that there is a pause after the like juncture. And it's because it's a small pause and it's a natural pause that we do between these sounds. So that is why it's called a normal transition. Like it's called the normal like pause we have because it's something that it's natural and we don't realize that it happens between words or within words. So now, Nanda, can you read number two, please?
Yes. Number two, open juncture. Juncture? No.
Juncture.
Juncture. Okay. It's a manner of transition from one phoneme to the next in two utterances. It exists between words in a phrase and sentence. Example, might rain, might rain.
Thank you very much. So open juncture, like there says, is just like the other one, a a phenomenon of a matter of transition, but this one happens between words in a phrase and a sentence. And we have the example, my train, and might rain. As you can see, the phonetic transcription is the same in terms of phonemes. We have the same number of phonemes. What it changes is where the pause is made, because in the case of the first one, it is before the of train, and in the second one, it's after the t. So we say might rain. So the pause is after the t. And that small change, the small pause, it changes the meaning of the sentence, right? The same happens in the case of, for instance, a name, like any name, your name, my name. And when you have a goal, an objective, you say you can call it an aim. Sorry, there's an A there. There it is. The phonemes are the same, a name and an aim. What changes is just like in the example, it's where the juncture happens. It's where the pause happens. And because of that pause, you can identify what the speaker is saying. I will recommend you to take notes on this, because afterwards we are going to do an exercise, and for that exercise you need to remember which type of juncture we are talking about in order to complete the exercise. So now we're going to move to the symbols we use to indicate when juncture happens. And the first one is the single bar juncture. And it says, indicates the need for a slight pause between two thought groups in a sentence. What does it mean? Is that we are going to use the single bar juncture, this symbol, in order to indicate the pause or the juncture. So as an example, we have the sentence, my teacher said the doctor is pregnant. The second sentence says, my teacher said the doctor is pregnant. What do you understand if you read the examples, or yes, what do you understand with these examples? Do they mean the same? Do they want to convey the same meaning? What do you think? My teacher said the doctor is pregnant, and my teacher said the doctor is pregnant. Do they mean the same?
No. They have different meanings because of the symbols.
The symbols. And what do you understand, for instance, in the first example?
Oh, that the doctor is the person who is pregnant.
Okay, and in the second one?
That the teacher is pregnant, because that's what the doctor said.
That's correct. That's exactly what at least I understand as well. And with this example, what I want to show you is that a change in the place in which we place a juncture in a sentence, it's going to affect the meaning of the sentence. So the sentences are the same. What it changes is where we place the juncture in this case. And as you can see there, we have a note at the end that it says, if the sentence consists only of one thought group, juncture is no longer needed. Example, I am interested in arts. For instance, if I place juncture after interested, like I am interested in arts, the meaning of the sentence is going to be the same. The thought group is going to be the same. So the meaning is not going to change even though I made a juncture. Now we are going to move on to a double bar juncture, that is this one. And it says, indicates the need for a longer pause between two thought groups in a sentence. So the pause is going to be more noticeable than in the previous example. And we have different cases in which we can find the double bar juncture. For instance, in the case of appositives, when they add further information that identifies or describes the subject. For instance, Professor Bruno, the English teacher, lived in the US for a long period of time. Here we are going to use the double bar juncture in order to indicate or to give a more to give more information about our subject, in this case Professor Bruno. So we are going to give extra information about Professor Bruno. And then we have that we are going to use double bar juncture after a non-restrictive clause. For example, Chris Martin, who sings in Coldplay, has 2 kids. Here, the non-restrictive clause is who sings in Coldplay. So we're going to find double bar juncture after and before that. So according to these definitions, where would you place the double bar juncture? After what words? For example, in example number 1, in this one, where would you place the juncture? After what words?
Before the English teacher.
Okay, so here.
And after teacher.
And after teacher as well. That's right. And in the second example,
before who and after Coldplay.
That's right. So that's it. Thank you very much. Now we have two more cases in which we can find double bar juncture. And it says before and after a parenthetical expression. That's the word. Before and after a parenthetical expression. For example, some food, sugar, for example, are not good for your health. In this case, the parenthetical expression is sugar, for example. So we should have before and after that, as we can find juncture before and after that. And then it says after verbal phrases. For example, looking through the window, I saw the kids playing in the park. So in that case, the verbal phrase is in the case I saw the kids playing in the park. So where would you place juncture in these cases? After what words? In the first one, for example, where would you place it?
Before sugar And after example?
That's right. That's it. And in the second one?
Before I.
Before I. That's
And
correct.
after park.
After park. Yes, and in this case, we don't have more information, so the second one may not be mandatory or needed in this case. Now we have a third case, and it's called double cross juncture, and it's like using the hashtag symbol, right? This one. And it says, it characterizes a drop in pitch. The pausing time corresponds to a need for a semicolon, colon, or period. And it says, when does it occur? It occurs in the pauses between two or more clauses. For example, to err is human, to forgive is divine. To hear is human, to forgive is divine. So we have our pause, here we have a semicolon. And by definition, when we have a semicolon, we usually have a double cross juncture. So we are going to place the juncture here. Is it clear what double juncture is? Do you have any questions? Yes? Okay. Now we are going to move to the activity of today's lesson. Of the second hour of our lesson. And it's a practical activity that says create two examples for each of the following points. And here we have 4 points. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first one says open juncture. The second one single bar juncture. The third one double bar juncture. And the last one, number 4, is double cross juncture. So you have now 15 minutes to develop this activity. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Or if you need me to go back to a previous slide, I can do it. Do you is it clear what do you have? What you have to do?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, great. Hello, welcome back. Are you there?
Yes, hello, Miss.
Great. Now I am going to ask for examples. So, do you have an example for open juncture? Any of you?
I have one. It's you're kind
Okay.
and you're kind. It's like with you are kind and you're kind.
Oh, I see. With the instead of saying you are kind,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like construct. I forgot the word.
it's you're using contraction. Is that it?
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I also thought about one, and it says, "Why choose?" Like, why would you choose an option over the other? Like, why choose? And also, why to choose? Why choose? For instance, you can have black choose, green choose, red choose, or white choose. So that's also an example. Why choose an alternative, and why choose? Black choose, red choose. Now for single bar juncture, do you have an example? Amaya or Maria Fernanda? For this one? Do you have an example?
I have the teacher said the student fell asleep.
The teacher said the student fall asleep. Yeah, that's correct. The teacher said the student fell asleep. Yeah. Because then, who fell asleep? The teacher or the student? Yeah, that's correct. Now for double bar juncture, do you have an example? Amaya, do you have an example for double bar juncture? I have one, for instance. I wrote, Harry Styles, the British singer, is a famous celebrity. Do you have an example for that one, Amaya? Or Maria Fernanda?
Yes, I actually have one. It's about Harry Styles too. It says Harry Styles, who is a British singer, has 3 Grammy nominations.
Wow. Congratulations to Harry then. That's correct. And the last one, double cross juncture. Once again, Amaya, are you there? Amaya? Maybe she cannot speak. Maria Fernanda, do you have an example for that one?
Yes, I wrote, you can do it, but you don't have to.
With a semicolon, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. You can do it, or you don't have to. That's correct. So, because it's time to finish the session, now we have our recap. And during the first hour, we worked with youth coalescence. And I wrote there, can you provide an example? I remember that youth coalescent is when we have a word that ends with a t or d, and those phonemes change into ch or d, when it's followed by the ja, the palatal sound. So, for instance, I wrote, "Would you attend next class?"
Miss, my mic is alright again.
Oh, it's working now.
Yes, it's working.
It's okay. I am going to ask you the second question. That it's about the example of juncture there. Then, but regarding youth coalescence, can you give me an example of youth coalescence?
The just college
Yes.
last year.
Last year, that was one example. Perfect. And now about juncture. Remember that juncture is a small pause in the flow of speech. So, Amaya, can you give me an example of juncture? Now that your mic is working. Any example of the ones you previously wrote down? Amaya? The mic is not working. Yeah? No,
No, yes, it's working, but I don't know.
if they are correct?
Yeah, juncture is not. I don't cut very well that the juncture. Yes.
Juncture is as simple as when we make pauses between sentences. And I think this is going to be easier for you once you start learning about clauses in grammar or in analysis. But it's as simple as making pauses. Like from the examples we already talked about. For instance, the examples of Harry Styles or for any other famous celebrity. For instance, I remember one about Gordon Ramsay, that it was like Gordon Ramsay, the famous chef, is cooking something or something like that. So those pauses in between Gordon Ramsay, the famous chef, is cooking, like those pauses is what juncture is. Juncture is a temporary stop in the flow of speech. So it's whenever you make pauses. So can you
All right. It's like the Elizabeth, the Queen of England, is having a tea party tonight.
Okay, so we have Elizabeth, then the Queen of England. It's having a tea party tonight, right? We have juncture between Elizabeth and then it's having a party, right? Yes. Yes, and for instance, we can also find juncture in words like silent. We say silent. It's not that noticeable, but there's small pause between those sounds. So silent, or for instance, now that Christmas is it's coming, we in the word Mary we say Mary, and it's a small pause that it's a natural pause, and it also happens in the word Christmas. We say Christmas. We don't say Christmas. We say Christmas. So that is juncture, and that was youth coalescence. Do you have any questions before we finish the session? No? Professor Bruno, do you want to add something before we leave?
Not really. I think it was very clear. The only thing that I would like to add is that these linguistic phenomena take place even if you are not fully aware of it, because you make pauses whenever you are arranging or organizing your thoughts. Therefore, juncture just happens. It just takes place. And I also thought about, for example, greenhouse. greenhouse or blackbird. In compound nouns, you also have to make a pause, right? So, and I think it's going to be clearer when as soon as they have grammar and they start talking about restrictive clauses and all that stuff. I think they're going to remember these examples you gave them, Ms. Javiera.
Yes. So thank you very much. I think that's all for today's lesson. I will see you on Friday. So goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye, everyone.